The Scottish Cup has been good to both Hearts and Celtic in recent seasons. Between them, they've lifted the trophy 9 times in the last 15 years.
Hearts have won the 10th Scottish Cup.
Celtic have won it on 6 occasions in that spell.
Silver at last for Celtic.
Neil Lennon was captain in 2007. And Gary Locke got his hands on the trophy in 1998. The teams approach today's match at opposite ends of the Premiership table, with Hearts desperate for an end to their financial troubles. But Celtic are only too aware of the challenge Hearts can present, with recent memories of being knocked out at Hampden. Hearts went on to win the Cup 2 seasons ago with an emphatic victory over their biggest rivals. But Celtic are the holders as they look to replicate last season's League and Cup double.
It's party time for Celtic!
Young Hearts are already looking forward to a League Cup semi-final. Premiership survival, of course, has to be their number one aim, but they have the chance here to set off on a Scottish Cup run as well, although the degree of difficulty today couldn't be much greater. Celtic don't just plan to win this one, they want another helping of Hampden glory. They want to hold on to this Scottish Cup. 11 teams through to the 5th round of the competition. That includes now Aberdeen, 1-0 winners today against Partick Thistle at Firhill. Andy Considine getting the only goal of that game. 4 replays to come. We'll give you a little bit more details of that match at Firhill, and then our main attention turns to the big one here at Tynecastle. Live coverage coming up of Hearts against Celtic in the company of former Hearts midfielder Michael Stewart and former Celtic striker Mark McGee. Let's give you the team news immediately, and it's a Hearts side today showing one change from the team which drew here with Ross County last Saturday. And David Smith is a starter on the right side, and he replaces Callum Tapping for Gary Locke's team. As for Celtic, 4 changes from the team which lost in the Champions League at home to Milan in midweek. Scott Brown, Joe Ledley, Anthony Stokes all returning to the team, and Israeli midfielder Nir Bitton is a starter as well. No Kayal, and Forrest, Samaras and Burigter are on the bench. So, Michael, big game for Hearts, but the big issue, the much bigger issue for Hearts supporters is the safeguarding of the future of the club. How confident are you that that's close to being settled?
Well, obviously the proceedings on Friday have gone in favour of the foundation of Hearts. It's a step forward. It's a very difficult situation that the club find themselves in, and it's still a very much of an unsure future. But as I said, what's happened on Friday is taking the club that step further to try and secure the future. I'm pretty confident that it'll not go down the liquidation route, that there will be a resolution, and that the foundation of Hearts will eventually take control of the club.
Let's hope for the best for Hearts. A big game facing them today. What impact, Mark, does Celtic's European exit have on this?
I think it was interesting to hear Neil, talking about moving on from that and feeling that regardless of how the pundits might see it, any criticism they might have had regarding their run in Europe and their failure to qualify, they feel as if they've done fantastically well to be there, come through a very difficult qualifying sort of games, and they're just going to move on from that. So I expect Celtic to be back at full pelt today. I don't expect them to lose any ground at all and be up for it. So I think it's going to be a really difficult game for Hearts.
This Scottish Premiership table, Michael, underlines the scale of the challenge facing Hearts today. -3 for them, plus 33 for Celtic. I mean, on paper, the home team have no chance here.
Yeah, of course. It's well documented the situation that Hearts find themselves in. It's not a pretty one, but regardless of what the table says, anybody that's played the game will tell you that when it comes to the cup competitions, that it's just what happens in the day. And at Tynecastle, the games I've seen for Hearts this season, especially the games at home, they've never been overrun too much. They always manage to keep themselves fairly in touch and obviously the game today against the champions, against Celtic, will be as big a test as they'll have had this year. But I do think that obviously Celtic are going to be the strong favourites, but I think that it'll not be a trouncing. I don't think so.
Before we talk more about this one, let's get the full story of what happened earlier at Firhill, Partick Thistle against Aberdeen, and John Barnes.
A fifth-minute headed goal from Andrew Considine was enough to decide this cup tie. Aberdeen dominated the first half proceedings and had chances to add to the lead, but two excellent saves from the Thistle keeper Scott Fox kept them out. Pollitt had a volley turned away by Fox, and then a deflected Ryan Jack shot was stopped as well. Thistle were better in the second half, but they just couldn't find a way past a solid Aberdeen defence to find that equaliser. While goal hero Considine showed his defensive qualities, blocking a late effort from Isaac Osborne. On 3 of the previous 6 occasions that Aberdeen have beaten Thistle in the Scottish Cup, they've gone on to win the trophy. Is the same going to happen this season? The Dons fans will be hoping it's an omen. It finished here at Partick Thistle 0, Aberdeen 1.
And highlights of that match tonight on Sports Scene, along with highlights of this one as well, and all the goals from yesterday's matches, and indeed Friday night in the William Hill Scottish Cup as well. Mark, it's an interesting Celtic team selection today, because Brown and Mulgrew are so strong in that central midfield area, both for their club and for their country, with which you're very much involved. But the inclusion of Beaton and Ledley squeeze them further out.
We can't be sure exactly where Charlie Mulgrew and Scott Brown are going to play, but I think they are the strongest midfield pairing in Scotland at the moment, and certainly they are the first choice in the national team.
How much has this guy been transformed as a player?
I think not only has he been transformed as a player, I think he's found a new level of kind of maturity as a guy. I think he's grown up. I think you see him now taking responsibility, and I think even this season, as the season's progressed, we're not even at Christmas yet, I think we've seen an improvement in him, and I think he's now a proper player. He's enjoying playing in midfield, and he's a great partner for Scott Brown. Yeah,
Scott Brown's so influential for Celtic.
The two of them are a great balance for each other, I think, and it goes without saying that they've done so well for Celtic that the natural progression is to the national team, where they've been a revelation.
Let's have a look at a couple of key players for Hearts today. I mean, obviously it's really important how they defend. They have to get that part of it right. I mean, so much responsibility for Danny Wilson. Has his game suffered because he's having to look after even younger players round about him? Possibly.
I mean, again, it's always more difficult when you drop down. It's a lot easier to play with better players. Danny Wilson's only a youngster. I think he's still only 21 years old. I don't think he's a natural sort of leader. We're talking about Charlie Mulgrew and his character. I think he's not a natural leader, whereas this guy, Ryan Stevenson's a bit more of a energetic, real sort of in people's faces, and it's possibly the sort of thing that Hearts need. Somebody that's going to grab the game by the scruff of the collar at times and just say, we're going to win this. I just think that Danny's game's maybe suffered a little bit, but Ryan Stevenson, he's very, very important for Hearts.
Let's hear what the two managers have to say. Neil Lennon and firstly Gary Locke with Chris McLaughlin.
Gary, once again it has been another massive week for this club off the field. Is there a newfound optimism after that CVA was agreed in principle?
Yeah, I think it gave everyone a huge boost, but it is important. That's kind of the first hurdle over. We've still got a long way to go, but certainly it was great to get a bit of good news for a change.
Let's talk on the pitch. A massive game today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fantastic game for everyone. Said that to the players in there. Although we're a young side, what an occasion. Playing against the champions, the cup holders at Tynecastle. It'll be a great atmosphere. So go out and enjoy the occasion. Go and express themselves. And if we do that, hopefully we can get the right result.
Pressure off?
Yeah, I think so. I think all the pressure's, for me anyway, is on Celtic, because everyone expects them to win. So the boys can go out and enjoy it, and if we're disciplined, organised, and play as well as we did against them earlier on this season, I think we've got players that can cause them problems as well.
Gary, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Neil, have you had a job lifting your squad after the disappointment of Tuesday?
No, not really. I don't think they've anything to be down about. They've competed at the highest level, and that's where I want them to compete. And we pick up where we left off now. Domestically, it's a competition we're defending, and I want us to play as strongly as we can today.
And I suppose a win against Hearts in the Scottish Cup might provide the perfect tonic anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big ask to play in the Champions League and qualify from a group that was as tough as that. We played okay in large parts of it, so that's a positive. And what we want to do is get back there as quickly as we can next year again and sample it all again. And yes, it's a cup competition that we'd dearly love to win. Difficult tie away from home, but the players will be very motivated today.
Hearts say all the pressure is on Celtic. Do you agree?
Well, so what's new? So I don't think there's a game I've not been involved in where the pressure is on us to win the game, so it'll not make any difference to me or the players.
The noise level is beginning to rise outside. It's such a great venue for any football match. Mark, good memories of this place?
Yeah, I mean, I used to get a lot of goals against Hearts with Celtic. I scored a few times here. Always a great place to come and play. I mean, always a place where you knew you could get beaten. There's no doubt about it. You came here, you were always had to be on your game because you knew you were in for a tough match. The fans are fantastic, sticking by the club the way they have. They'll generate a terrific atmosphere. I think it's one of obviously the games that they enjoy is that the Celtic coming here. So it's the makings of a great game.
Michael, are there realistic hopes today of a cup upset?
Well, as I said earlier, it's a cup match, so there's always an opportunity, there's always a chance. It'll be a very, very difficult game for Hearts to get anything from, but I think at Tynecastle with the support behind them, there's always an opportunity of them getting something.
We spoke about the Celtic team selection. I mean, there's only one change for Hearts. There are very few changes week to week. Team selection for Gary Locke because there's nothing else he can do.
It's a thankless task at times that if guys have dropped in form a little bit, they've not really got anything to change. Anybody else to come in. There's any injuries as well, things that naturally happen through the course of a season. So there's very little opportunity to mix and match the team, and we see that today. There's one change, but there's not a great deal that Gary Locke can do.
So we're all set in Gorgie for an intriguing Scottish Cup tie. In the fifth round of the competition, the chance to reach the last 16. Live coverage coming up. You'll hear from Billy Dodds and our commentator Liam McLeod.
The last two winners of the famous old trophy going head to head at Tynecastle in what is the standout tie of this year's fourth round. And while Heart of Midlothian still have bigger battles to fight off the park, a cup run is something that not only mentally boosts their fight to stay in the top flight, it would also provide them with a financial return. The problem for them is that up against a Celtic side who will be hurting from their midweek European exit, and since their defeat at the hands of Hearts in the semi-finals the season before last, they have cantered to victory each time they have come here, scoring 11 in just 3 games. The timid nature of the holders' defeat by AC Milan will also have sparked a determination from their manager that the least they can do now is retain their league and Scottish Cup double. Now we're into December, the fourth round of the Scottish Cup, the last of the fourth round ties to be played this weekend. Still some to be sorted out at a later date. Aberdeen getting their place in tomorrow's draw by beating Partick Thistle in today's early kick-off. And the players couldn't ask for better conditions for today's game. The pitch looking good, the skies above still blue, floodlights beginning to come on as well. And now, as with all Scottish Cup ties this weekend, there will be a minute's silence observed as a mark of respect for those who lost their lives and those who remain injured in hospital following the horrific helicopter crash on Stockwell Street in Glasgow on Friday evening.
Folks, in keeping with our sporting events this weekend, we want to pay our respects to the bereaved following Friday night's tragedy in Glasgow. We ask, please, respectfully, that you join us right now in taking some time out in silence.
Well, Gary Locke has a small squad to choose from. The guys were just talking about that, but he has decided to start young David Smith on the right, with Ryan Stevenson supporting Callum Patterson. Jamie McDonald in goal is the only man in that lineup who started the 2012 Scottish Cup final. Scott Robinson in midfield came on as a late sub. Neil Lennon drops Borigta and Samaras to the bench, with Kyle and Forrest out altogether. The Israeli Nir Beaton replaces compatriot Kyle in the middle. Stokes has scored 5 and 14 against Hearts in his career, including here at Tynecastle in a 3-1 league win in September, with Joe Ledley also restored. There is no one over the age of 20 on the Hearts bench. The King brothers feature on it, with Callum Tapping left out from the start. Teemu Pukki, the Celtic striker from Finland, has 2 goals for the club. One of those came on his debut here. The referee is Willie Collum, who took charge of last season's final as Celtic took care of Hibernian 3-0 in May. Collum sent off Real Madrid's Sergio Ramos during their Champions League win over Galatasaray at the Bernabeu in midweek. Positive news on Friday emanating from here. The company voluntary agreement, or CVA, was conditionally agreed for Hearts. There is still work to be done on that front, with a meeting in Lithuania at the end of January, it seems, holding the keys to their future. But the fact Heart of Midlothian could have been closed during that meeting on Friday, it is a massive, major step in the right direction. Billy Dodds, this is normally a keenly fought contest, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about that. And you can never rule Hearts out, especially with this atmosphere at Tynecastle. But they're up against quality opponents, and Celtic aren't they unbeaten in the league this season. It's going to be really tough. But after the result yesterday in this wonderful competition, Albion Rovers knocked out Motherwell, you wouldn't put anything against Hearts to do something, but it would be really tough for them.
It's David Smith with an early free kick for Hearts. It's going to be knocked back in by McHattie, headed away by Van Dijk. McHattie's normally over the set pieces for the Jambos. Celtic really do need to bounce back. Going out of the Scottish Cup is unthinkable to their supporters after their continental adventure came to an abrupt end on Wednesday. 3-0 defeat at home to AC Milan, that coming off the back of a League Cup exit at the hands of struggling Championship side Morton in September. A one race will not suffice for them between now and May. That's Mikael Lustig. Challenged by Wilson, lifted forward by Robinson for Stevenson. Scored that winner against Hibs in the League Cup quarter-final, set up the semi in that competition with Inverness Cali Thistle. It's been played at the other side of the capital. Ledley. He would have been disappointed not to start against Milan in midweek. He did come on early because of an injury to Kyle that keeps him out today.
I'm just looking at Celtic's formation. We thought they would go with a 4-4-1-1, but they've set up with a diamond in midfield. It's Ledley on the left, Beaton on the right, and it's Mulgrew just drop off with Brown playing in front of him. Very attacking.
Oh, that's wonderful play from Celtic, and they've got a chance to get an early initiative here, and Commons gives them it. Wonderful goal from Celtic. Chris Commons had the pleasure of finishing it off, but Hearts have been ripped open here in the opening few minutes at Tynecastle as Celtic take a big step towards the 5th round already.
Well, it's a start that Hearts dreaded, isn't it? But it's absolutely brilliant play from Chris Commons and Joe Ledley. You can see Hearts not in a bad position there, back 4 intact, but Celtic work it, just pass it about, little give and go. Ledley into Commons. They're not tucked in, Hearts, but still got a bit to do from there. My word, does he do exactly that. Fires it right into that far corner. Wonderful start for Celtic.
Well, there's the answer. Anyone who thought Celtic might be slow out of the blocks, that they might have a hangover because of what happened to them on Tuesday evening. They aren't. And Chris Commons, who's their top scorer for the season, grabs his 9th of the campaign.
When you come to a tough place, we were talking about it like Tynecastle, when you get that start, you can see Neil Lennon just absolutely loving it right away. There's a bit of pressure on this game after the result midweek, but I'll tell you what, you can't get a better start than that. He realises that with that celebration.
Big questions for Hearts to answer now. Don't let the heads go down as Mulgrew finds Ambrose. It's the Nigerian. Ledley. Aguirre. It's a good left foot. Commons. And Brown. Lifted in by Aguirre. It's too high for Stokes. Lustig was there. Brown involved in that move. The Celtic captain back in the team. He has now served his suspension in Europe. Missed 3 Champions League matches. Last of those 3 against Milan. He will return for what is now a dead rubber, I suppose, against Barcelona just over a week's time. It's a clash of heads between Stevenson and Van Dijk. So how do Hearts react to this?
Just stay in the game, make sure they don't lose the next goal. It's a sore one, this, when you see it. Stevenson on the way back, Van Dijk the way forward, clatter of heads, yeah, painful. But yeah, stay in the game, certainly not lose the second goal. It could be tie over, but it's a hard one for Hearts to take. Where do they go from here? Young squad, inexperienced squad. We've talked about that bench of theirs. Can they change it from the bench? Doesn't look like it, but certainly make sure they don't lose that second goal.
Ryan Stevenson has been in good form for Hearts this season. Chris Commons has been excellent by and large for Celtic.
Yeah, you're looking at the play, and I mean, Hearts do set off. I talked about having that back four intact, and maybe McGee could have just tucked in a little bit quicker once he sees Commons on the run, but he stays wide, allows Commons in the gap. You see there, Wilson's got to try and cover across, but the shot's already away by then.
The last time they met in this competition was the semi-final, as Hearts went on to win it in 2012. Craig Beattie with a last-minute penalty. Clever from Ambrose. Patterson was roaming around looking for something, looking for a mistake. Commons is offside. It is top of the SPFL Premiership against bottom.
You see no pressure on the ball, he's already on the move. You can see half a yard offside, but Hearts pressing a high line, and when there's no pressure on the ball, you've got to be careful what line you hold.
Celtic 5 points clear of Inverness at the top. Hearts still on minus points, -3 just now, 12 points adrift of Kilmarnock at the bottom. Aguirre. Beaton. Strong. Smith. Good play from him to get away from near Beaton. Jamie Walker rather. Smith on the right, Walker on the left. Walker against Mulgrew. He's won the free kick, and this is the kind of situation the Hearts need to take advantage of.
It's really good from Walker once gets the ball off of Beaton, then Mulgrew's got to try and cover across, but it's clumsy from Charlie Mulgrew. You see the arm going out, pulling him back. Not too much contact, but Walker goes down in a dangerous place. But really good play, good response from Hearts. Ideal opportunity, but a really good delivery from here.
Well, this is Smith, you will take it. Celtic have everyone back to defend this free kick. What a response this would be for Hearts. Smith, it's not great. Still in there though, Stevenson. The Hearts fans wanting a penalty there, the challenge on Patterson, not getting it. David Smith picks up again, it's too much. Almost given away by Forster. It almost worked out for Hearts there, but the delivery wasn't great, it needs to be better.
Yeah, just Celtic were 7 along a zonal line, and you just got to try and put it in that area, just over the first man of the zone, in between keeper and the line of the zone. We've seen the problems that Foster's been having in the last couple of games, but when you put it low like that, there's no problems for him there.
There's a free kick this time. Hearts had a penalty shout at us a couple of seconds ago.
Yeah, just good body strength. You have to use your upper body in the game. Little lean. Edges it clear, Scott Brown. Clearly not a penalty.
McCarthy this time. Played by Van Dijk. Commons. Pinched off Ledley by Hamill. It's Jordan McGee. Jordan McGee, just 17 years of age. Beaton. Two for company there. Lustig. Anthony Stokes got a runner and Beaton to his left, goes back to his right for Lustig. Mulgrew. Ledley leaving it for Izagiri. Welshman on it now for Commons. Celtic ball. He's so keen to retain this league and Scottish Cup double, Neil Lennon. The Celtic came flying out the traps. They scored inside 3 minutes to lead this cup tie. Beaton. Walker clears. Patterson will give chase. Ambrose is there first though. Ledley. Lustig and Commons. Let's measure this from Celtic. Izagiri knocking the ball into the middle. Really good pace about the cross. McGowan was there. This is Ledley. Hearts just trying to stay in this game. Joe Ledley. Well, had he found Brown, he has got the corner, but had he found Brown, that might have been a free shot and goal for the Celtic captain.
It's brilliant from McGowan, the first header, because he gets himself in an area, because I think Stokes is in behind him for a tap in. It's a great ball in from Izagiri, and then you see the little turn by Ledley, gets himself free, looks for a little pull back. That's good enough to get it for the corner. Testing time for Hearts.
Yeah, important part of the game this. Hamill's there, turned over by Beaton.
Once a header's won here, now you can see David Smith just switches off, facing the ball. That allows Beaton just to get in behind him. You can see, look, facing, there's Beaton with the strike. Can't watch the ball sometimes, you've got to open that body out, see man and ball if you can.
Mikael Lustig's okay. Take a bang there.
I think Hearts are struggling to get this Celtic system. Maybe have to narrow Walker and Smith a little bit. Maybe allow Hamill to drop onto Chris Commons. Get Ryan Stevenson on Charlie Mulgrew and see if you can stop Celtic playing, because really started this game well, Celtic.
Walker. Hearts corner. Also be the third time I think Hearts have had an opportunity to get the ball into the Celtic mixer. They haven't taken full advantage of the free kick chances that they've had in the game already. David Smith, who played against Celtic for Wraith Rovers in this competition on loan last season, takes the corner. Away by Beaton. Mulgrew will scoop it clear. Hearts still have plenty around the 18-yard line, but Van Dijk takes control of the situation. Finds Izagiri, finds Stokes, who will be frustrated when he looks up and sees the flag.
Yeah, we're right in line with that one. Looked half a yard right away when the ball just hooked up that left channel. We'll get a look here. There you go, just that half a yard we were talking about. I was interested to watch that first Hearts corner, because I thought they might have worked round the back of that. Celtic played the same 4 along the 6-yard box in that zonal system, and We saw the success AC Milan had putting around the back area, couldn't handle it, but nobody worked at that time and they hit the front man. Hearts.
Yeah, the first 2 goals for Milan the other night coming from corners. Kakan Zapata with the goals on those occasions. It's Jamie Walker, looks for Patterson. Well, it's going to be a Hearts ball. Another chance from the corner.
Is he going to get a touch? It's just a long ball from Walker. I see a touch here.
Yeah.
I saw that when it first happened. I'm like, where's that coming from? Not his best decision, Wally Collum.
The Hearts won't complain. Celtic will if something comes of it. It's Dylan McGowan who meets it.
He worked at that time, Liam. That man round the back, McGowan.
Just looked like McGowan was going to try and divert that on target. He kind of moved it over towards the back post.
Is that AC Milan corner talking about? The first one, yeah, they get it in, nobody marking in between the zones, but the second goal they got was back man headed right across, and then they stuck it in at the back post, but nobody reacting for Hearts in the second ball. Won the first header far too easily again, worrying for Celtic.
This is Brown meeting the sandwich. Walker. Return trying to force it out to Lustig. Danny Wilson, the Hearts captain this season. Did win the Scottish Cup with Rangers. He's the captain. It's sometimes easy to forget Danny Wilson's only 21, Billy.
Yeah, he's done a lot in his young career so far. Shifting from Rangers after Champions League, out to Liverpool, out loan, then ends back up at Hearts.
Oh, we know what Ryan Stevenson can do. Celtic won here earlier this season, 3-1. Chris Commons got the opener that day too. Cancelled out by Jason Holt in the hour mark, and Hearts seem to be holding their own. Just 7 minutes after they equalised in that game, Anthony Stokes scored, and then Pookie with a late one. And Stokes is flagged again. But the good thing for Hearts, and from their point of view, Billy, is despite losing the early goal, they haven't looked too rocky.
Yeah, they've created another couple of opportunities as well. Worried for him at the start of the game.
It's Jamie Hamill. He's apologising. He did have Jamie Walker out on the left-hand side. He's going to have a pop himself.
The space is there. Comes through some bodies as well. And we know Hamill's got a strike on him, but just doesn't get it on target.
A couple of goals this season, Jamie Hamill. Both have come in the League Cup. Fraser Forster, who made his England debut in the recent international friendly doubleheader. He played in the game against Chile. England lost that one 2-0. Alexis Sanchez with both. Commons, how clever was that? This is Stokes. Ledley was taken down. The referee allowing the advantage for Celtic here. It's Charlie Mulgrew. Ambrose. Celtic undefeated in the league this season. They did lose the League Cup tie to Morton after extra time. Dougie Imrie scoring the only goal of the game. The only time they have dropped points in the league this season have come in the games against Cali Thistle, Dundee United, and across the capital here against Hibernian. Ledley to Brown, and Lustig was in good space, was blocked by Jamie Walker. Van Dijk, who's looked the most impressive of the summer signings who were brought in by Neil Lennon. He's been a good replacement for Kelvin Wilson. They were big shoes to fill, but obviously bigger shoes to fill were Victor Wanyama and Gary Hooper. Neil Lennon just trying to find the right mix up front. He's had to rotate his front men week by week, pretty much. Try and find the blend that will bring him the kind of goals that Gary Hooper brought them and that Anthony Stokes has brought them in the past. Celtic free kick. Robertson and Brown.
Certainly got to pass their way through, or they're switched off.
Taking it quickly. This is Chris Commons to make it 2, and does. Celtic take out an insurance policy in the capital, and it's Chris Commons with a double. Celtic 2 the double. It's Hearts 0, Celtic 2, and is that game over already?
You would think so, but the inexperience shows there, especially from Mahati. Maybe somebody inside, maybe talking to him that Commons just going to run across the back of him, but Mahati, you can see him to the right, Commons is to his right, just switches off. It's only a 6-7 yard dart from Commons, puts him in, but when he gets there, he's shown already left foot for the first goal, right foot for that one, but Hearts completely switch off, don't they?
That's Chris Commons into double figures for the season. He is breaking hearts at Tynecastle. All in the opening quarter of this William Hill Scottish Cup 4th round tie. A card for Charlie Mulgrew there as well. Hearts 2 of the free kick. But it is a long, long way back now for the Jambos. Long ball from Hamill. It's back to Wilson. They need the next goal. Wilson robbed by Commons.
4v2 they have as well. If he brings it back for a free kick. It doesn't matter if you're young lads or you're inexperienced, you must communicate. And for the Celtic second goal, there was no talking, no communication, no awareness from Mahati, but could have been told, look, he's on your right shoulder, switch on, he doesn't. Just a quick pass and a 7 yard run. Commons is through and sticks it away.
Yeah, he was almost through again there. The challenge of McGee. Izagiri.
I'm sure the boys in the shootout, Michael and Matt will pick the bones out of it, but you can't take away from Celtic how they've worked to 2 goals. Plenty to talk about if you're a Hearts supporter or staff. Just in there, defensive mistakes.
That's been a problem for them this season. They do have a very young squad and they do have bigger issues than winning cup ties to contend with just now. But the goals that they've lost generally in the league games this season as well have come from basic errors, from switching off.
They're going to get that inconsistency, with young lads. You've seen it, a few great performances this season, then a few they switch off. That's exactly what's happened in this game. Overall, they've been done pretty well this season, closing the gap to, 12 points?
Yeah,
now?
they're 12 now. The minus 15 points that they started with as a result of going into administration. They're back to minus 3. Win against Aberdeen, followed up with a draw against Ross County here last week as Lustig plays it in. Brown couldn't get there, Robinson has it now. They simply can't concede another one. Hearts, they need the next goal. Patterson goes himself. A wonderful run from Stevenson to his right, but he didn't spot it.
He does ever so well. Patterson edges Ambrose. He just doesn't get the head up. See there, little lean, takes the ball. That upper body strength I was talking about, but Can't see it in that picture, but Stevenson, he's in on the right hand side. Just one good pass when I put him through 1-1.
When they beat Aberdeen here at the end of August, they had to wait until they played the Dons again in November before picking up a victory. 7 defeats and a draw is all they had to show for their efforts between those two Aberdeen matches. Izagiri, Commons, back heel was straight to Robinson. Smith through for Stevenson. He's up against Ambrose. I mentioned he is capable from that kind of situation, Ryan Stevenson, but didn't catch that one.
Yeah, he didn't, but he had no other options. It's a good run from him. Burst through it. Smith, little slide rule pass. You can see nobody there, nobody in front. He's got to take the shot on.
Charlie Mulgrew scored in the Scottish Cup final win over Motherwell in 2011. It was a bit reckless from Forster. Very difficult at the moment to see how Hearts get back into this. 19 shy of the break. Mulgrew. And for Commons. To Brown. Back to Commons. Goes for the chip. That would have been some way to get your hat-trick, would it not?
But it's his movement. He gets himself between centre-half and right full-back again. He's not the quickest Commons, but it's his movement. But once he gets this ball back, you can see the awareness where McDonald is. A decent save from him. Gets it over the bar. Not the tallest McDonald, but brilliant from Commons.
They're giving Hearts a bit of a chasing here right now. 2-0. They lead, and they have this corner from Mulgrew. And Dyke beaten to it by Wilson. Comes back to Brown. Free kick Hearts. Challenging Wilson. Already through to tomorrow's 5th round draw. Hibs, Alloa, Rangers, Stenhousemuir, Dundee United, Dumbarton, Albion Rovers, Raith Rovers, Cally Thistle, St Johnstone and Aberdeen, who defeated Partick Thistle earlier in the day. Still to get through. 8 teams, 4 replays. Ayr, Dunfermline, Brecon, Forfar, Clyde, Stranraer and Queen of the South, St Mirren. One of those through. I mentioned Dundee United, manager Jackie McNamara and assistant manager, coach Darren Jackson. 2 former Celtic players, of course. Wonderful form that they're in just now. 5-2 victory against Kilmarnock on Friday night at Tannadice. You were there, Billy?
Yeah, I was, enjoyed it. Simon Donnelly must be having the day off today, but they were exceptional. And I'll tell you what, they were asked the question as well. Kilmarnock getting 2 quick goals just after the break. You can never write them off, Dundee United. Just keep going at you and got the rewards again. Another 5-goal haul. The first 5-goal haul of the season. A few fours.
McNamara and Jackson both scored in Scottish Cup finals as well. Jackie McNamara for Celtic, Darren Jackson, Dundee United, but that was a cup final he'd rather forget, despite how good it was. His Motherwell beat them 4-3 and he feels the best Scottish Cup final of all time. Not everyone feels that way. F.A. Ambrose. It's a heavy touch, but he gets away from Walker. Shrugged him off. Beaton. Gets it back from Commons. Stokes. Commons. Beaton. Well, they're just weaving tapestries outside the Hearts penalty area here, trying to rip that defence open again.
They're shifting the Hearts formation about so well, because sometimes it's Commons coming off, then Stokes will drop, Brown will step in there. That's what I'm talking about when you have to communicate, and it's pretty difficult when Celtic are shifting about the way they are. Hearts players not really knowing who to pick up and when.
Stevenson, Patterson was strong against Van Dijk. He was unfortunate there, didn't get the break of the ball. Van Dijk scored a couple in the recent victory in Dingwall against Ross County. His first two for the club. Celtic already hitting around about the 25 game mark for the season. It started in Belfast against Cliftonville in the Champions League qualifying rounds. They could do with a winter break. They're not getting one this year. Here they do have an opt-out potentially in January. It's half an hour in. Free kick thumped forward by McGee. Comes off Ambrose last. There's a throw-in only though. Walker. That's great play by Jamie Walker, driving it back. Ambrose is there though. Hearts need something to grasp onto. McHattie. He's unlucky, breaks to Commons. Here comes Celtic trying to pick Hearts off, because Hearts will have to commit men forward any given opportunity now as they strive to get back into this.
Better from Walker. It's been their right back so far in terms of getting forward. A couple of runs, really positives on that occasion. Gets to the byline, just couldn't pick out the right pull back. Lustig. Beat on. Hattie challenging Stokes. Back to Mulgrew. He's trying to play in Stokes. Good first touch from Anthony Stokes. This is on as well. Off the woodwork, but Brown will make it 3, and Celtic are surely now through to the 5th round. And we're just beyond the half-hour mark at Tynecastle. It is the former Highby, the Celtic captain, Scott Brown, and it is 3-0 to the holders. It's that area again. It's a brilliant run from Stokes. You'll see it. McGee's got him, and then he's not. And he's clearly onside, as you see, but that movement is killing Hearts. Even though he's young, McGee, he's got to be more aware. McGowan's in trouble, can't do anything about it. Leslie comes in, hits a shot, deflected onto the post from Joe Ledley, and then it just falls to the one that Hearts fans just didn't want it to fall to. Scott Brown, the ex-High B, with the easiest of tap-ins, and it really is game over, isn't it? You would think. Young McGee's getting killed down that side, isn't he? Just not aware what's round about him quickly enough. Stokes is in, and then the goal results from that. It's been happening all game.
Yeah, Hearts are absolutely stunned. And little wonder. There's always going to be a massive challenge for them to knock Celtic out this afternoon, but when you look at the time, when you look at the scoreline, you kind of fear for them now.
Listen, the movement's great from Celtic, watching it, interchanging, passing, but the one place you don't let them go as a back four is through you, and they've done that too much in the game. You must play compact. You let them outside you, never let them through you, and it's happened all game.
First of the season for Brown. Celtic captain celebrating being back in the team after that European suspension with that goal. Fortunate in the way it broke to him, but there was nothing fortunate about the move again from Celtic. And just in the wake of that, as soon as the ball hit the net there were plenty Heart supporters making for the exits. I think the game's a bogey. We're even 35 in. McHattie. Oh, who's there? Ledley. Huge mental test as well for this young Hearts team. We do not want this to be a trouncing. Already 3-0 down at home. It's heading that way. And isn't far away either from Beaton.
Just a little touch, give and go again, and just gets it set from Stokes and just wraps a foot round it. There you go. Just bends it. Can't be far away at all. McDonald looked in trouble. What looked like a tricky tie, it just looks a stone apart now for Celtic.
Yeah, Neil Lennon said as much when the draw was made. Celtic were in Amsterdam ahead of their match against Ajax. The day before they played Ajax in Amsterdam, the draw was made. Neil Lennon shaking his head a little bit in the media comments when he was asked about the draw, for his reaction. He acknowledged how difficult he thought it was going to be. McHattie's ball for Walker. Ambrose comes to meet him, but that's a goal kick. Last time they met in the Scottish Cup at Tynecastle, it was 3-0 that Celtic won by. February 2004, Martin O'Neill's team winning thanks to 2 from Stilian Petrov and 1 from Henrik Larsson. Paul Hartley and Alan Mabry were both sent off late on in that game. Neil Lennon played the 90 minutes. Lennon used to love the battle here. Beaton finds Lustig. McGowan himself in a fankle.
You feel for the Hearts young lads. It's a tough one for them. Gary Locke just want to get them to half time.
Here's this movement again from Celtic, threaded through by Ledley. Tried to reverse it through to Stokes.
The problem we've got now, they're 3-0 down. He might not actually, might just damage limitation for Gary Locke, but you would think at some point they'll open out a little bit. But you can see what's happening. They're playing a compact system. They open out. This Celtic movement, when they just find more room, and you just worry about Hearts because Celtic look as if they can just cut through them when they want.
Commons. He's on a hat-trick. We saw those headlines. Doesn't get any easier for Hearts. The weekend they go to in-form Dundee United in the Premiership. The game at Tannadice on Saturday. Celtic go to Motherwell on Friday night. This is Stokes. Squeezed it through to Ledley. Izagiri. Brown. This is Beaton. Challenge across from Kevin McHattie. Even when Hearts had a bigger squad last season, Kevin McHattie made that left back slot his own. Back from Beaton for Commons. Brown.
He wants that hat-trick, doesn't he? Just desperate. Beaton does well again. Another little pull back to Commons. He ain't thinking of passing there, just wants a shot away. Hearts do enough. Brown with the follow-up effort.
The sun setting in Scotland's magnificent capital. It's setting in Hearts' Scottish Cup ambitions as well. Stokes for Izagiri.
Well, we've talked about the movement from the Celtic front players and the midfield players, but you've got these two fullbacks, Lustig and Izagir, bombing forward at will, and it's so hard to, as I said, communicate, talk, switch about, realise who's where in the park, and again to get forward.
That's Mulgrew. Goal kick only. Well, what do you do with 5 minutes to half time? What do you do at half time, Billy, for Gary Locke in this situation?
Well, the only thing that will get them back in the cup tie is getting the next goal. But to do that, you've got to open up. But you just fear that Celtic just rip them apart. So sometimes you just have to say damage limitation. If we nick one, well, we'll see where we go. And it's a hard one for him. He's a young manager as well. He's got young players out on the pitch. They have to try and get back in the game. They might commit one more forward and go 4-4-2 and just try and match up. Maybe even play a diamond so that the boys, the inexperienced boys out there, know what they're doing. It's a basic job, and matched up against a diamond in midfield, and we'll see where we go.
Commons. It's the deepest he's been, I think, in open play today. Izagiri back to Ledley. Away from Hamill. Beat on. Good run from Lustig here on the right. Early ball comes in, and the fourth arrives. Joe Ledley, who scored in last season's final, ensures that Celtic roll down Easy Street in this fourth round tie. 4-0, not even half time.
Yeah, but you see left side, working from left to right, out to Beaton. We're talking about those full-backs getting forward, Lustig, but what a ball that is. If you're a forward-thinking midfielder or a forward, just throwing yourself in there to get a tap in, and Ledley does exactly that. Brilliant again from Celtic. Mahaty has to tuck in. He can't get out quickly enough. What a ball that is. Just begging to be tucked into that net.
It was the Welshman who added the cherry to the top of the cake in the final win over Hibernian in May. He's causing more heartache for a capital side. No foul on Stevenson by Ambrose. The Hearts fans who have stayed in the wake of that fourth Celtic goal, making their feelings known to referee Willie Collum. The Celtic fans will be absolutely loving this. As a neutral and as a Hearts fan in particular, it is tough viewing. Oh, and there's the fifth. What a fifth it was from Mikael Lustig. That is an absolute stunner that has put Hearts to the sword.
Hearts are caught up the part there. We've got a few committing forward, and we talked about that as well. And then Lustig breaks forward in a central area. Gets out in this right, cutting into the central area. He's got Stokes making the run, as you see, the back four set off. He's not using Stokes, he's hitting him from 25 yards, and it flies over McDonald. It's a great strike, isn't it? You fear for Hearts, you really do. 5-0 down, young manager, young players all over the place. Where do they go from here? Don't think there's many managers have to face this.
Ripped apart, Lustig's second of the season, and unbelievably Celtic find themselves doing the high fives before the interval. Hearts fans have spent the last year and a half using one hand to show 5 goals when they beat Hibs 5-1 in the final. And a taste of their own medicine in this cup tie. Mikael Lustig, and the quality of the majority of the goals for Celtic today has been excellent. That final one from Lustig was exquisite. There was a concern for Hearts that there would be a backlash from Celtic's point of view because of what happened in the Champions League on Tuesday in Glasgow. Nightmare is reality here. Mulgrew for Izagiri. Well, this would be quite stunning. Brown looking for Celtic's 6th and almost finding it.
Really gets him. I mean, he puts it in on a sixpence, isn't it? For Scott Brown, he's only man in that 6-yard box for Celtic. He puts it right on his head. He just can't get enough purchase on it to get it on target. You're right, could have been 6.
He doesn't look too happy, but he'll be ecstatic. Neil Lennon, Johan Mjalby beside him. It's the 1 minute of stoppage time added on at the end, well into that great play from Jamie Walker. And not even getting the bonus of a consolation before the interval. Walker's shot saved well by Fraser Forster, who keeps his clean sheet.
That's a great touch from Foster. Not the best of times recently, but tell you what, it's a fine instinctive save from him. Walker again, the positive one, gets through. Wants a penalty as well, felt as if he was clipped, but good effort from him.
Corner in towards the head of Wilson. Stokes are beat on, and it is half time. And from Hearts' point of view, they'll be gutted. It's not full time. They want this game over and done with. Celtic look to have done that already. Chris Commons with a double, 1 on 3, 1 on 21. This was the opener. Ledley finding him, and it's a wonderful finish across the bows of McDonald for 1-0. The second arriving, as I said, on 21. Quick free kick, found Commons, 2-0. The third came from the former Hibernian midfielder Scott Brown after Ledley's effort deflected off the post. Ledley himself got on the score sheet on 42. The ball coming in, Lustig finding him at the back post, and then just before half-time, the pick of the bunch from the Swedish international Mikael Lustig, and we have an unbelievable scoreline at Tynecastle at half-time of Heart of Midlothian 0, Celtic 5.
So I think we can safely assume that the name of Celtic is in tomorrow's draw for the 5th round of the William Hill Scottish Cup. The worry for Hearts fans at the moment is that an already embarrassing scoreline could get considerably worse before we're finished. Let's hear from former Hearts midfielder Michael Stewart and former Celtic striker Mark McGee. What a performance from Neil Lennon's team here.
You know, games are about players, you know, but you cannot give Neil and his coaching staff enough credit for this, because they've taken the team since the game on Tuesday night where they lost to the AC Milan. They've changed the shape completely. They've went to a diamond shape, and the way they've executed it is just absolutely textbook. The movement, the interchange of play, the interchange of positions has just bamboozled Hearts. You can see Hearts are prepared early in the game. You could see how they wanted to step on and put Celtic under pressure, but they just couldn't get near them, and Celtic have just picked them off. I mean, Celtic have been absolutely magnificent.
You would work on those sort of things in training, and I bet they wouldn't have even managed to get some of the goals that they've got here today. You know, they're shaped up like Mark's saying, they're in a diamond, and I said before the game I didn't think it'd be a trouncing. Well, it's well and truly turned into that. You know, they've picked Hearts off, and they've been, as Mark says, all the credit's got to go to Neil Lennon and his coaching staff, because Hearts have not been able to live with Celtic and their diamond in midfield.
What will they do next? What can they do?
It's very, very difficult, because you know, you talk about then maybe trying to match up, or you know, get the Hearts fullbacks pushed up a little bit to try and engage with the Celtic fullbacks, but then you're opening up, you're offering gaps and holes, and we've seen so far in the first half that Celtic have exploited every hole that Hearts have offered to them.
You know, the Hearts players will be in there, and you know, they'll be talking about it, and they'll be saying, you know, someone's got to pick up the right midfield player, and the Hearts players will be saying, who is the right midfield player, because one minute, you know, it's Stokes even find himself, or Ledley's over there, or Lustig is there. The interchange is just, you know, there's no, you can't draw, you know, the positions that the Celtic players have played in because of interchange so much, and that is so difficult. And then at the end of it, as individuals, they've played well. You know, their control's been good, they've been strong on the ball, they've passed the ball well. Charlie Mulgrew, playing in the back of the diamond there, has played like a standoff, like a quarterback, and he's sprayed passes and he's made passes. He looks a magnificent player out there. But, you know, Hearts, wow, you know, second half, got a big job on.
We'll talk a little bit more about this match shortly. If you're a Hearts fan, you might want to disappear during that section. But let's recap about what happened in today's other Scottish Cup tie. It was played at Firhill, 12:45 kick-off, and Andy Considine getting the only goal of the game at Firhill, and Aberdeen go through to the last 16 of the competition. You will see highlights of that one, highlights of this one as well, and the best of Friday night and Saturday in the Scottish Cup as well. Games are, Mark, so often about setting the tone right from kick-off. Celtic couldn't have done it any better. They were slick, they were quick, they were so effective, and they were ahead after 2 minutes and 21 seconds.
You know, and the last thing that Hearts want in this game is Celtic to score an early goal, because it confirms everything they have been working on all week. It gives them a confidence, it puts a spring in their step, it gives them a platform to go and win the game. You know, so right early on, you know, you could see Hearts want to step on, want to get close to Celtic, you know, but again, already their movement and the positions that they took up had Hearts trying to work out who was playing where. Really, really difficult. Celtic patient passing the ball, you know, making a lot of passes, coming out one side, going back out the other. Everybody wanting the ball, everybody rotating, everybody on the move.
You don't see a Hearts player getting within 2 yards of the ball. And as Mark's saying there earlier as well, getting into that final third, and they're showing that bit of quality. It's just textbook stuff from Celtic.
They've still got to finish it as well. Of course. You know, Coleman's finish was fantastic there.
Of course. Right across the goalkeeper again, you know, you would try.
And it's clipping the post, isn't it? It couldn't be placed any better.
There was no chance for the goalkeeper there. But, you know, you see these clips here. There's no pressure on the ball because of the movement and the work that Celtic are doing off of the ball. It's not allowed Hearts an opportunity to get anywhere near them.
So, going a goal behind inside 3 minutes is bad enough. Hearts couldn't afford to do, Mark, was switch off, which they did for the Celtic second goal. I mean, it's massive credit to Celtic for switching on at this moment when the free kick was awarded, but Hearts couldn't afford to switch off.
No, I think, you know, when they get a free kick, you know, you got to switch on. It's the opposite, you know. They get the free kick and everyone's, you know, turning their back, walking away there. You know, you can see the two Hearts players ahead of where the free kick's going to be taken, all with their backs to the play, then he makes a run. You know, you cannot be doing that. You know, there's got to be an urgency about it. You've got to be regrouping, you've got to get your shape around the back four, calling people in, you know, facing the ball, get one of the Hearts players in front of the ball there. You know, even the referee ends up telling them to go back and stop them taking it quickly. Instead of that, they've turned away and they've scored a goal.
You see who plays the free kick, it's Charlie Mulgrew, and that just epitomises the sort of character that he is now for Celtic. He's the exact opposite of everything that we've just spoken about there from a Hearts perspective. He's switched on. He's got the ball, he's taking it, you know, he's walking forward to where it's to be taken. He's already looking and thinking, you know, what can I do here? Hand on the ball, boom, quick. And, you know, it's just those momentary lapses of concentration that Hearts have offered them, and Celtic have been so clinical today. I think the build up to goal number 3 probably underlines the difficulties Hearts are having in coping with the Celtic system. Yeah, it is. You know, we spoke about it in the first for the first goal as well. But again, you see this here. It starts over in the left back position, over to the right here. There's no pressure on the ball. They've got all the time in the world. I mean, you've got quality players like that. There's Charlie Mulgrew in that quarterback position. Great control from Stokes. And then obviously it lands at Scott Brown's foot, and the Tynecastle crowd are, you know, devastated. But again, you see there's no pressure on the ball from Hearts because of the movement that Celtic have been making in the middle of the pitch, and then as it's moved forward into the final third, their movement's been fantastic as well. And when you've got quality as well, you cannot be afforded that time and space because they'll punish them, and Celtic have done that so very well today. So that was 3-0 with Scott Brown scoring there, but there was worse to come for Hearts. And it's so gratifying for a football team, isn't it, when what you work on the training ground, Mark, comes to fruition on match day, and this maybe exemplifies that. Goal number 4.
I mean, I think that Neil Lennon and Gary Parker and the staff must be looking at this and not dreamt it could have played as well, and it could have gone as well as it has, because it just really has been off the training ground. But the quality as well. I mean, this ball across, that is just, a ball inviting a ball to be put in the back of the net.
You'd have loved it, on the end of that,
that was about my distance. But, it's just a fantastic bit of play. Again, from the other goal we saw, the previous goal, when it was switched from right to left and then out there, and then the diagonal, the ball into Stokes. This one's, come from back out this side. The switch in play. Charlie McGrew's at the centre of it all the time, and he's delivered a fantastic cross.
Because of a lot of the Celtic players have come into that sort of diamond, a lot of it's through the middle there, has attracted a lot of the Hearts players into the middle, and then the Celtic fullbacks have given them that real width up the top there. You see Izagiri it came in at the middle, it went out the other side, comes out to Lustig, and it's meant that the Hearts defence have come very narrow as well, and they've punished them in there because McCarthy was too far over. Lustig gets it and he plays a fantastic ball across the face of the goal.
There's been no margin for error for Hearts here, has there? Anytime they've made a mistake, they've been punished. Here's another one, backing off Mikael Lustig as he drove forward, and he plants one in off the crossbar.
I mean, we're still reeling really from the fourth goal, and the fact that, and it's a ridiculous shot that gives the keeper no chance, but it's born out of confidence. They're 4-0 up, the full-back's got forward, doesn't score a lot of goals, but I'm going to have a pop because today anything can happen, and produces an effort that really stuns Hearts, because the 4 was bad enough, but 5 in off the crossbar is just getting beyond. So very, very difficult match for Hearts.
How worried is Gary Locke in the dressing room at the moment about this taking on record-breaking proportions?
He'll be very worried, because there's no real sign of an improvement there in the first half. There wasn't as if the last 5 minutes they looked to have got on top of the system or the game. They're a very inexperienced team, and we were speaking about this during the first half there. It's not as if it's a team of experienced guys who know what's going on, as if a couple of them are going to say, right, this is what we need to do to shore things up. It's very difficult when it's an inexperienced team that they get overwhelmed, they don't know how they're going to combat it. And Gary Locke will be very, anxious in the changing room that he can get the message over in terms of how to stop this, dominant performance from Celtic.
It's not been difficult pulling together Hearts shots on target in the first half, because I think there have just been a couple of them. This one from Callum Patterson was never going to find its way past Fraser Forster. They have ventured into the final third, Mark, only rarely.
Yeah, but saying that, they up until the second goal, if you edited out the first goal, Hearts were up for it. Hearts were trying to execute whatever plan it was they had about stepping on. The 3 guys up front were trying to put Celtic's back 4 under pressure. It's a terrific little bit of play, and it's unlucky not to end up as a goal. But it's going to be a consolation whatever they get. The manager's now got a difficult task. There's 2 things I see he has to do. He has to change the shape, or he has to make some sort of allowance for the shape that Celtic are playing. And the other thing he has to do, he has to convince his players that look at this Celtic team and look at what we are at the moment. We're a group of young guys. He's got to forgive them a little bit and give them something, a rationale for going out in the second half and feeling better about themselves, and going out and having a go in the second half and returning a little bit of the pride, and I think they're entitled to do that, because you look at the difference between the 2 teams. Celtic are a Champions League team. They've got Champions League players now emerging in your Mulgrews and Brown and Stokes and all these guys, and Chris Commons, and this is a really young Hearts team that have been exposed today to a super Celtic performance. And I think the manager's got to forgive them and send them out there with a little bit of help, as it were, to go out in the second half and give it a go. Discount the first half, it's gone. Now just work for the second half performance.
It is Hearts 0, Celtic 5 half-time at Tynecastle. Back for the second half shortly. Let's recap though the rest of the story of the weekend in the 4th round of the William Hill Scottish Cup, which tells us Dundee United had difficult moments at Tannadice Friday night, but came through in the end in some style as well, scoring for fun at the moment. 5-2 winners at Tannadice they were. Albion Rovers from League 2 beat Motherwell 1-0. The big shock so far of the 4th round. Alloa are through. A replay between Ayr and Dunfermline. Dumbarton march onwards. A replay as well for Brechin and Forfar and Clyde and Stranraer. Raith Rovers beat Dundee. Rangers won at Falkirk. Inverness scored 4 against Morton. And completing the picture, a replay for Queen of the South and St Mirren, that's in Paisley of course. Hibs are through. Terry Butcher's first win as manager there. St Johnstone won 2-0. Stennismuir beat Fraserburgh. Aberdeen won earlier, and that emphatic scoreline halfway through here. We'll show you some of the key moments from some of those other games a little bit later on, but it's eyes down now for the second half of this one at Tynecastle. And is it, Mark, now all about what Celtic want to do with this? Do they want to score another 5?
Well, that you know, how many times have we been in a game or even played in a game like this where it's 4 or 5 nothing half time and the game finishes 4 or 5 nothing because there's something goes over there. You don't want the half time to come. Celtic didn't want that game to end. They'd have wanted to keep playing and playing and getting as many goals as they possibly could. But there has been the break now and they have to pick it up again. So it will be interesting to see if Celtic can maintain that sort of type of performance.
And is it total damage limitation for Hearts, Michael?
It's got to be. You know, you've got to try and get some sort of pride out of the game, and that'll come from, you know, like Mark was saying, almost discarding the first half, looking at it as a 0-0, starting 0-0 here, and just try and get something out of the second half. You hear the Celtic crowd, they're shouting for 10. They want to get the same score in the second half, and we obviously see there's been some sort of tactical change from the Hearts manager here. They had to do something. You know, he couldn't have gone out in the second half and carried on the way they did in the first.
Halfway through, Celtic are 5 goals in front. Here's the second half with Billy Dodds and Liam McLeod.
And that is Brad Mackay, who is a defender, and he's replaced David Smith, who's playing on the right of midfield in that first half. We'll get to Billy's thoughts on that in a second when Willie Collum gets us back underway. It will be Hearts who will restart the match. Their heaviest ever defeat, Hearts, was a 7-0 loss to Edinburgh rivals Hibernian. That match on New Year's Day 1973 here at Tynecastle. They'll be looking to salvage some kind of pride from proceedings tonight. Dusk has fallen on Edinburgh, and it's Van Dijk for Celtic who go hunting a 6th goal. Still trying to work it back to the big Dutchman, who does like to get forward when he can. So how does it look as though Hearts are going second half, Billy?
Yeah, Brad Mackay, he's just gone into right centre half, and they've pushed McGowan into midfield. Just try to get a defensive midfielder in there just to sit and protect and try and get a hold of this Celtic movement.
Comments? They want the corner, they're not getting one though.
Patterson's come to the right hand side as well. Good energy, good legs out there. They'll have to have.
No changes for Celtic at the interval. We do have Zaluska, Samaras, Boric, Terbaldi, Rogic, Pukki and Fisher amongst their subs. Hearts with that one change. Jack Hamilton, the youngster, the young goalkeeper on the bench. Brad Mackay on now. Dale Carrick, Billy King, Callum Tapping, Billy's brother Adam King and Gary Oliver making up their bench. Not much to look to really, in truth. Loosed again for Stokes, who isn't among the goals so far.
Surprisingly, but straight away they're onto the back four again, and Lustig, as he's done all game, just getting himself high up the pitch. Michael Stewart was talking about it, and once it gets there, it's another quality cross. Nobody on the end of that one.
This is the 25th time they've been drawn together in the Scottish Cup, including replays. It's the 30th meeting in the competition. Celtic winning 17, Hearts 7 of those matches. There were 3 draws, which obviously led to those replays. The first meeting between the two in the Scottish Cup was in the final in 1901. Hearts won that 4-3. Oglu pinging it out to Zagiri. Great ball. There's a Celtic corner.
See, sometimes as a team you better just go and match up so they know their job, but Callum Patterson just completely switches off. He's away on the pitch. Zagiri's gone. Just can't produce a cross on that occasion, but just Hearts youngsters getting pulled all over the place, really are.
No group. Commons. Beaton. Goes down by Robinson. Robinson gets that back. Look at Ryan Stevenson, and it's a foot race, which Ambrose wins. It's great play from Stevenson, looking for Patterson in the middle. Hart's corner kick.
It was a lovely touch from Stevenson out in that left wing. Just a little turn on the line and just can't find the cross. Ambrose taking up a good position. Knock it for the corner.
Jason Holt out injured today, but generally speaking it's Gary Locke's first choice side. But he's got much to choose from, and that's beating everyone.
It's a 4-1 now, as I was saying, for Hearts, especially defensive-minded players. McGowan, Patterson now just sitting in there trying to just play for that 0-0. Again, Michael was talking about it at half-time with Mark. Just make sure you don't lose this second half. Get some pride back. That's all we can do.
Ledley. Famously lifted the Scottish Cup in 1998 when Hearts beat Rangers at Celtic Park. Didn't play though. So many injuries as a player, Gary Locke. He was suited up for that final. Stefan Adam and all that. Incredible to think that it's more than 15 years ago now. Really 16 into that. He's a Giri. And Celtic have got into the final third. They have started to knock the ball about very quickly. And did so again there. That had to be headed out by Mackay.
Yeah, first test for him just on the pitch, and takes up a good position. You see he's got Brown on his right shoulder, but realises the cross is going to that front post area. Good header from him. Okay.
Well, we all know how dangerous the left foot of Charlie Mulgrew is. He's going to try and flight this one again in on top of the keeper, it looks. And it does come. Combination of Wilson and Hamill there. Back with Commons. Charged down by the Hearts skipper. Patterson to Stevenson in the counter. Only had one to really aim for, and that was Patterson. Beaton gets the break. Well, this is as good as Celtic have zipped the ball about all season. OK, they're 5-0 up, but even as early as the third minute when they got there first, their passing was in. You could tell that eye was in.
Yeah, they certainly zipped about to get 5-0 up, yep. Still think, I was listening to the boys and quite rightly talking about Celtic's performance, but you're not telling me Gary Locke's not going to stick this on the analysis and go through what maybe Hearts could have done. Even as young lads, you have to tell them, you have to teach them, make sure they know not to switch off. They have to look at that. It'll be sore, yes, but it's the only way you'll learn as a youngster.
With the exception of Jamie McDonald, Jamie Hamill and Ryan Stevenson, everyone 22 or younger in the Hearts lineup. It's Virgil van Dijk. I mentioned the fact in the first half that there were a lot of Hearts fans leaving the stadium in the wake of the fourth and fifth goals, but there's still plenty here who have stayed. There's solidarity about this club, and there's had to be in recent times. Jamie Walker. He's a talent, Jamie Walker. Mentioned as well in the first half, Kevin McHattie was one of the players who came in last season when they did have a bigger squad. Jamie Walker's another. He's Scored 3 times this season. Hearts Young Player of the Season last year, in fact, Jamie Walker. Commons shuffles away from Hamill. And it's a corner again. Off Dylan McGowan. His brother Ryan scored in the Scottish Cup final in 2012. Need to say Dylan won't be repeating that feat this season. Lifted in by Lustig. That's Ambrose's header. He's hurt himself in the process, the Nigerian.
I don't know if he's landed awkwardly, holding the ankle. He's on his way out for the header. It's from a long way out as well, as you'll see here. Maybe get a glimpse of it the way down there. Out of picture. It's 17 yards, isn't it? Maybe just turned the ankle.
Stevenson. Walker. Patterson. Suppose Gary Locke will still learn plenty from his players and how they react to being 5-0 down in a game of football at half-time. Against a slick Celtic. Stokes. An awkward one for McHattie to defend, just the way it was zipped in by the Irishman.
They're all well on the curve, there's no doubt. I mean, you could go through the goals, but you see McGee, I thought it was McGee staying too wide at the first goal, but he stepped forward and it was Smith that stayed wide, didn't tuck round for him. McHattie switched off for the second, and then McGee was done by Stokes' movement for the third as well. So they're all things, yeah, it's sore as I say, but they're all things that you have to show them. You want to be positive, but sometimes you learn better with the negative.
Neil Lennon celebrating his 200th game in charge of Celtic this afternoon, and when you think back to one of his first in this competition when they lost to Ross County in the semi-finals, it's been some turnaround. A couple of Champions League adventures as well in the midst of all that. Okay, it hasn't gone as well as he would have liked it to have gone this season in that very, very challenging group. But to get there, having come through 3 qualifiers as well, he'll be quite happy with that, I'm sure, when he looks back at this season. Even happier if he's got 2 pieces of silverware to go with it. Again, ball from King was blocked, but it does come to Dylan McGowan. He's had it pinched off him though. Commons going to feed in Stokes, comes back to Ledley, who fires it across. He's going to come back to Commons again. A shout for handball, and it is a penalty kick. And Celtic do have the chance for a 6th, and you can bet Chris Commons will try and find this ball. He'll want his hat-trick.
Just rubbing it in, isn't it? We'll get a look at it, but Ledley could have had the strike. McGrew could have taken it himself. Goes back to Commons. He just helps it. That is harsh. I can't believe Willie Collum has given that, to be quite honest. He's 1 yard from him, his hands down. It's not unnatural. It's a poor decision from Willie Collum, I really have to say. They're 5-0 down. Yeah, there should be no sympathy, but that's not a penalty. He's only a yard away, kicks it off him, hand down. Oh dear. When it's not your day, it's not your day.
It could be Chris Commons' day. chance for his hat-trick. Celtic looking for a sixth at the school end at Tynecastle, and they have it, and Commons has his hat-trick.
That's clinical from Commons. I didn't expect anything else with the day he's having. Even when McDonald goes the right way, no chance of stopping that.
Wonderful free kick from Chris Commons right into the bottom corner. And they got this penalty because of this handball from Danny Wilson.
What can Wilson do there? He's trying to get his hand behind his back. It's down by his side. Commons is only 2 yards away. Listen, it's not Wally Collins' fault today that Celtic are winning 6-0. But individually, you've got to look at that goal. It's a poor decision.
Celtic making a change. Timu Pukki, well, he'll want to get in the act, replacing Charlie Mulgrew. I suppose what Hearts don't want to see is a midfielder being replaced by a striker. Hearts in a situation here where if they concede another, it would be equal worst ever defeat. Patterson. Van Dijk covering across. I suppose, Billy, with Timu Pukki coming on, it's a chance for him to try and get some kind of confidence. I think Neil Lennon is desperate for Pukki to get on the score sheet. He's got half an hour here as we click on to the hour mark at Tynecastle.
Not a bad game to come on, 6-0 up, and Mulgrew, who's run the show, he's been yellow carded, take no chances there. And Pukki, short of goals, getting plenty of space. Celtic getting plenty of opportunities as well, so wouldn't put it past Pukki to score. He scored here the last time. He scored against St Johnstone just after that. Scored here in his debut. Hasn't found the net since. It's been back into September now. Crucial point of the season for Hearts. Yes, they would have liked a Scottish Cup run. Yes, that would have brought financial reward with each round that they progressed in. But they go into a situation where they've got league fixtures coming up, particularly over the festive period, where they need to be in a position going into the new year where they're in contention to stay up. McDonald grabs on to the Leiston cross. That's great play from Beaton, just nicked that away from Robinson. Brown. Celtic trying to keep the pressure on here. Near Beaton. And those with a pocket goal in the first half. It's Commons with a big switch right to left for Izagiri. Stokes. Chris Commons taking his tally to 11 for the season this afternoon. Ledley got one as well in the first half. Timu Pukki. Sums up the way things are going for Timu Pukki just now. No slip in the box. Well, lovely touch from him though, to get himself away.
Van Dijk, surely not. You don't get away with that when it's 0-0 in a tight cup tie.
Yeah, a couple of goals at Ross County the other week there. Fancies his chances, but least said the better.
As you watch Timu Pukki, Van Dijk well over that one. Celtic have been hungry this afternoon. They want more. Hearts with everyone bar Ryan Stevenson back to defend. Ledley, another break of the ball goes Celtic's way. Stokes, good run from Commons. It trickled through to him. Hearts can't clear. To the ire of the Hearts supporters. Commons. That will be a goal kick.
Young Mahati frustrated with his clearance. Lucky there, because you can see he's just trying to get there. It's all or nothing from him, isn't it? And Commons not happy, as you can see. Taking a chance, young lad.
Quit the national team in May, Chris Commons, after 12 caps. Couple of goals for Scotland as well. We've seen this season the Chris Commons that we saw when he first arrived at Celtic. He was a star for them in the second half of that season. He only played half that season, of course, signed in the January. Commons. Izagiri. Great play from Izagiri. Pookie. Scott round. Oh dear. I don't want to see that again. Still Celtic come. And Ledley can only put it to McDonald under pressure. Well, how Hearts would love to have that man in the maroon shirt again. He's a big jambo, Rudy Scatchell. Scored twice in the final against Hibs. He was a legend in his first spell, let alone the second. He scored in the 2006 final as well in the victory over Gretna on penalties.
Think it have made a difference today?
No. Hamill! Almost.
It's a really good strike from him. Not had the opportunity to get forward hardly at all during this game, Hamill, but we talked about how he's got a strike on him. Tell you what, didn't clear the crossbar by much.
Sore one for Jamie Hamill and co. This. Just about to go into the final quarter. It's 5-0 Celtic at half time. Earlier today, Aberdeen going through against Partick Thistle 1-0. Andrew Considine with the early goal in that one. The draw is tomorrow afternoon. Lustig still has the best goal of the game so far. Ledley goes down, looks to Willie Collum for the free kick, not getting it. Stevenson. That's good defending from Efe Andrews. Got between man and ball. Forster finds Stokes under no pressure. It's another great cross-field pass, this time from Stokes. Izagiri. Couple of step-overs to the delight of the visiting supporters in the Roseburn stand behind Jamie McDonald's goal. Talking about Chris Commons looking more like himself. Emilio Izagiri has looked more like himself in recent times as well, after picking up that bad injury a couple of seasons back now. A while to get back to full pelt. Ledley goes the long road looking for Stokes. Run is on for Patterson, but it's out of play. Hearts change coming up. They made one at half time. This is their second, and it will be Dale Carrick who's going to come on. Ryan Stevenson being warmly applauded by the Hearts supporters, most of whom have stayed to watch this horror movie. He's playing out in front of them here on their own patch. And on comes 19-year-old Dale Carrick, Scotland under-21 international striker. All Carrick's appearances this season have come from the bench. Izagiri Cookie got a flick onto that. Brown will collect. Cookie. Stokes. Blocked by McGowan. Ledley. Brown. Good play from Celtic again. They have been passing the ball well all afternoon. Ledley involved there. Where Joe Ledley's future lies, still to sign the contract that is on the table for him if he wants it at Celtic. Will he stay or will he go? Commons to take this. Mulgrew off the park now, of course. That should have gone anywhere. Pinball in the 6-yard box.
Just clears Van Dijk, gets a bit of contacts in the net. Just gets over his head. And I think it was Stokes behind him, just stumps off the back of his head. And a let off for Hearts.
Celtic looking for Scottish Cup number 37 this season. Nobody has won it more often. This is Carrick. First touch for him. It's good. He's continued his run. Walker. Oh, he was taken right out of the game by Virgil van Dijk, right in the edge of the box.
He's been positive again, Walker. Just a touch, a little bump, coming together. It's a free kick.
Now, what can Hearts make of this? Trying to put some kind of respect on the scoreline. Put away by Ledley and Izagiri. And here they come, the holders on the counter. 4-on-2. It is Stokes. Beaton up there with him. Yeah, Stokes was crowded out eventually. His heart streamed back. There are 4 teammates of Anthony Stokes with their arms outstretched, asking where was the pass.
Yeah, and he drew to him as well.
This is Walker. And from a Celtic counter-attack and a 4-on-2 situation, it is a Hearts corner.
Should have been a 7th. Once he draws that, Hearts 2, Stokes, Pookie and Commons. And on the right-hand side, chose to go it alone. Hearts nick it, get the corner.
Darnell Fisher there, he'll be on for Celtic in a moment or two. His jacket back on. A bit chilly. Celtic will wait till this corner kick is defended. Darnell Fisher are right back. Jamie Walker to take. Celtic with a physical advantage inside the penalty area. It's away from Ambrose. Trying to keep this alive, the hosts. It's Walker. Brown block that. Coming to Ledley there. Brown, who got his first of the season in the first half. Well, fair play to Hearts. They have continued to fight for the cause. Callum Patterson that time. He's got a long throw on him. Should have liked to see. Get their Hearts claiming him off an arm, I think, as Van Dijk closes it down on the far side. It's going to be a Celtic goal kick, despite the attentions of Brad Mackay.
Hearts fans behind the goal claiming for a penalty, but nothing there, nothing doing.
And here is the change. It's like for like. Lustig off, Fisher on. Neil Lennon applauding the display of Mikael Lustig, who scored a stunning goal right on half-time. The goal that put Celtic 5-0 up.
In a position to just rest a few. Lustig, a couple of injuries, a lot of football. McGrew certainly a lot of football. Samaras having a day off, and your team still winning 6-0.
And there he is, the aforementioned Georgios Samaras. Through the middle himself against Milan in midweek to no avail. Virgil van Dijk. Fisher gets a first touch. Ledley. Celtic in cruise control. Commons, who has a hat-trick today. Near Beaton. Beaton. Pookie. Gets a shot away, and that's a great save, McDonald. It's still alive though. Stokes clipping it in. McGowan heads it away. Only as far as Brown! There's 7! Hearts are heading just now for a record defeat, it seems. Scott Brown leathers home Celtic's 7th. It is 7 heaven for the holders.
Does it take a nick? It was good save from McDonald right away, comes through. I think it was it Mackay's legs? Then when it comes out, Brown just hits a strike. Yeah, takes a deflection. I thought McDonald had gone the wrong way. And he's going for you, Celtic have been brilliant. They get their 7th, a decent strike. But the nick's all important, isn't it? Good technique from Brown, you see. Eyeing the ball, body over it. And the deflection gets him their 7th.
Scott Brown 2nd. Commons is 3. Others from Ledley and Lustig. And now it's Joe Ledley again. Still 15 minutes. It's been a horrible afternoon for Hearts. We keep going back to it. They have got a bigger fight on their hands. They'll know more about the future of the club come the end of January, beginning of February, as Dirk Borigta prepares to come on for Celtic. There is a meeting round about that time in Lithuania. Hearts majority shareholder UBIG involved in that, and they will hope that confirmation of the CVA comes then. It's certainly been agreed in principle. The Foundation of Hearts, the preferred bidder, will hope to take control of the club then, and they can begin to build for the future. Whether that is in the 2nd tier of Scottish football, if they can evade relegation, could be in the top flight. It doesn't matter how many Celtic put past them today, that is obviously more important to them long term, but this will hurt. There's a wound that will heal. Won't feel like it right now for them though, as Stokes pings it out to Fisher. Another wonderful pass. Commons and then Fisher. Wilson away, right to touch onto it. Stokes and Pookie were lingering around as Patterson finds touch. More suited to around the corner at Murrayfield as Dirk Borigta comes on to replace Chris Commons, and just listen to the ovation that this man is about to receive.
Quite rightly so, his finishes were just excellent. Yeah, a penalty thrown in, but you still got to stick it in the net. But the first two, one left foot right in the corner, and then a right foot finish as well, and then gets a hat-trick with the penalty. It's a great day for Chris Commons. Borigta on, got some pace to burn, this lad.
Celtic have had Hearts on toast since the 3rd minute when Commons scored his first. They've added another 6, and there's still 12 and a half minutes to go. Well, he will be purring after this, Neil Lennon. As good a performance as he has seen domestically away from home since he took the reins. You just can't back against Celtic in this kind of form. treble was taken away from them when they lost to Morton in the League Cup, so that was never an option. As Ledley looks up.
It's a good run from Ledley, from right to left. You can see the movement there from the left full back and behind centre half. Mackay drawn short. He's got to go across the goalkeeper there.
Final change then for Hearts. They're going to bring on Adam King, the brother of Billy King, who's been in and around the first team for a wee while now. He's going to replace Jamie Hamill. Not a good day for Jamie Hamill and co. It's a debut for Adam King. Not ideal. The midfielder primarily can also play at right back. 18-year-old. About to go into the final 10 minutes, and as easy a game as Celtic have had here at Tynecastle. There have been so many titanic tussles between these two clubs, at Tynecastle in particular, over the years. This never threatened to be another one of them. He's still not scored today, Anthony Stokes. Brown, who has two, with a handball. It was.
Harsh again, isn't it? What can Scott Brown do there? Kicks off his chest, yeah, clips a hand after it.
The 2012 winners being well beaten by the 2013 winners. As Aguirre gets on the showboat. Strong play from Brown. Referee didn't like the attention from Robinson. It's Van Dijk. And again, it's Aguirre. One more goal goes in for Celtic. And it does finish 8-0. It will be Hearts' worst defeat. They don't want to prevent that. They don't want to be the team that goes into the record books. Ledley has found Pookie, crowded out. Stokes goes down right inside the D. The referee points to the ball. No free kick for Celtic. It was right on the edge of the penalty area.
I'm sure the Hearts player got a bit of the ball. Yeah, caught Stokes after that, the momentum.
Beaton. Boricta. Aguirre. Challenge from Jordan McGee. Beaton to Ledley. Emilio Aguirre. Boricta, who started the Champions League game against Milan last week. Didn't see much Champions League action because of injury. Former Ajax player. Van Dijk, who we know has been watched by the Dutch national side scouts, coaches. trouble today, though. Ledley has to scamper across to get that, and he has found Ambrose. Ledley to Fisher. Ledley looking for Brown. Pookie was in there as well. McDonald holds on. Well, one thing I have to say, Billy, is that Hearts, their players, they've kept trying. It's not like they've thrown in the towel. Despite being 5-0 down at half-time, 7-0 down now, can they take anything from the second half?
That's professionalism and that pride we're talking about, damage limitation, call it what you want. Yeah, they've worked hard. Just thought, another chance for Celtic,
Yeah, Pookie to Stokes. Midfielders who have come to the fore for Celtic today. Commons was playing as or just off the striker. It's only the start of the game. It's Boddington. Ball taken by Dylan McGowan. Robinson does enough to force it to Walker. The final 5 minutes just about. Just nothing going for Hearts at all. Pookie. Nothing going for him either. Already through to tomorrow's draw: Hibs, Alloa, Rangers, Stenhousemuir, Dundee United, Dumbarton, Albion Rovers, Wraith Rovers, Inverness, St Johnstone, and earlier Aberdeen. Celtic about to join them with Ayr, Dunfermline, Brechin, Forfar, Clyde, Stranraer, and Queen of the South, Billy's Queen of the South, against St Mirren. Those replays taking place next week. Fisher gets it back from Stokes. It's found Boddington. And Stokes keeps it going. Brown's in a hat-trick. Celtic corner.
Yeah, another deflection, nearly got him that hat-trick. Good movement again. Fisher down the right, hangs up a lovely cross, knocked down by Boddington. Stokes can't go on the score sheet, but Brown's left foot strike nearly gets him his third, and Celtic's 8th.
They've been insatiable, Celtic, rampant. Down Gorgie way. Batman on the far side from Carrick, and he's pinged it all the way out here to 17-year-old Jordan McGee. Well, they just want to go home now, the Hearts. It's Jordan McGee.
Yeah, you tend to forget these lads, especially McGee, 17-year-old, as you said, but it's a lovely run from him. Good ball by Carrick, delivers a wonderful cross, comes back to him, just gets carried away a wee bit.
When you think back to the size of the Hearts squad from a few years back, the years under Vladimir Romanov, the different nationalities that were here as well. When you look at the back of today's matchday programme and you look down the list of Hearts players, all but one are Scottish. Dylan McGowan is the exception, the Australian.
Yeah, with the wages been thrown about then as well. Gary Locke's working with his hands tied behind his back. There's no doubt it's a slow building process getting Hearts back.
Oh, I mean, there are many people, a lot of people who feel if Hearts stay up, Gary Locke's manager of the year regardless. What a task he's had. McDonald has missed that meantime. And it's swept away by McGee.
Yeah, Mackay not happy the cross is allowed in the first place. Gets McDonald in trouble. No Celtic taker though.
Zagiri. Is it going to get worse for Hearts? Breaks to Walker. Carrick. Stokes. Joe Ledley. Brown to Beaton. The punishment nearly over for the Hearts faithful. Celtic fans would happily watch this all night. Still stringing the passes together. Richter. He's the free kick. No, he doesn't. Oh, I heard a whistle there. Willie Collin pointed to the ball again. Richter doesn't agree with the decision. Doesn't get much easier for Hearts either. Away to informed Dundee United at the weekend. Celtic going to a Motherwell team who will be looking to bounce back from that shocker against Albion Rovers yesterday. Timu Kuki, blocked by Wilson. Still in McGowan. And it's a Hearts free kick. Well into the final minute of the 90. The fourth official, Callum Murray, is about to tell us how much longer Gary Locke will have to suffer for here. Well, Gary Locke and Billy Brown will have to try and G their players up when they go into training next. I saw Robbie Nielsen in the background there as well, a Scottish Cup winner with Hearts in 2006 against Gretna. Just the 1 minute being added on at the end. Bit of sympathy for Hearts from the match officials, you feel?
Yeah, and I'm glad it's been torture for the young lads. But they have to, you're right, they have to prioritise. Billy Brown, Gary Locke have to get into them, saying, yeah, try and forget about it. We'll show you a couple of things that maybe can make you better players. But yeah, let's stay in this league. Huge ones coming up for Hearts. Festive period, kind of get a couple of wins that puts them trying to close that 12-point deficit.
Against Celtic in Glasgow. Joe Ledley.